Hi, bosses. This is Tommy Jean with Tommy Jean Coaching, and I'm here for day 4 of my latest challenge. I have a 30-day challenge where I am telling a story every day. I'm trying to get better at finding stories, telling stories, and relating them to my business. We learn better and connect better through stories. So here's a story that I have been thinking about a lot. And I have to say, I cannot speak with authority on any sport. I am going to tell a baseball story today, and forgive me in advance because, like I said, I cannot speak with authority on any sport. But I've never been to Wrigley Field in Chicago, home of the Cubs, but I hear that it's one of those bucket list ballparks for a lot of people. I did know that Wrigley Field was the last field to get lights so that they could have night games. What I didn't know was that the former owner was the first one to submit plans to get lights, and every year it was turned down. So even though they were ahead of the curve, they wound up being the last ballpark to get lights. Wrigley Field is in a neighborhood, and people were against it. You know, you probably, if you know anything about baseball, you probably know a little bit of the story. There were a lot of battles, and the local community really didn't want lights because they didn't want night games because people behave differently at night. They were worried about more vandalism and crime and people blocking their driveways and just disturbance, especially because baseball doesn't really have a time limit. You know, it has innings, but they can go as long as they need to go. So there are some famously long baseball games. So eventually, the lights were installed. And the first game played at Wrigley Field with the lights was on 8/8/88, which I hadn't realized. So August 8th, 1988, the Cubs and the Phillies were playing. And some people in the neighborhood were still upset about it. And my favorite comedian, or one of my favorites, is Bill Murray. I like him in a lot of different movies. I've never seen Caddyshack, and I'm told that's a crime if I really like Bill Murray. So I'll have to add that to my list, but I digress. So Bill Murray is a big Cubs fan. And he was there that night on 8/8/88, and they had him in the announcer's booth because it was just so exciting. People were aching to get those tickets. They sold out really quickly. And the first at bat, the Cubs were pitching and the Phillies were up at bat. The first throw was a ball, and there's a whole story behind that. But the second pitch, right in the strike zone, the batter hit it, and it was going, gone. He hit a home run. And one part of this story that I like is that Bill Murray in the announcer's booth yelled, "Quick, turn off the lights." I just think that's really funny, good comedic timing. He was so excited for the lights. Now he's like, no, it's ruining the game. So, so who won that first game? Do you know? No one, because the game got postponed. First, there was a rain delay, and then the rain was so bad that the game got postponed. So the local community members who were against having night games said, aha, this is a sign from the heavens. God does not want lights at Wrigley Field. But because it was delayed, they were complaining that the rain was causing fans to come to people's homes and say, hey, can I use your bathroom? Hey, can I, rest on your lawn? Hey. And so the neighborhood was being invaded by people, not because it was night, but because of the rain. So that is the story of the first game where they actually had lights at Wrigley Field. I mean, I guess that kind of counts as the first game, even though it wasn't played to completion. And I really think that's a funny story. So my trick is, how can I relate that back to connecting? I think what it says to me is, not everything that feels like a sign is a sign. Nobody said at that point, oh my gosh, let's rip these lights out. They were right, forget it, right? Partially because money was on the line. If they wanted to be televised and be in the playoffs, they had to be able to have night games. So really that was driving it. It wasn't going to change. But they went on to have, many successful night games there. And in fact, that field is still in operation. But I think that's the takeaway I'm taking from this story is, it's not always a sign. It's not always the sign you think it is. It wasn't necessarily, a plague upon them because of having night games. But I also think, when in doubt, invite Bill Murray. He will make things fun and entertaining. Not all of us have that option, but all right, that's my story for today. If you're old enough to remember 8888, let me know your 8888 story. I know a lot of us in the early 2000s, there was, 6606, 7707, 8808, and people plan parties and events around those. So what was yours? And are there any special dates like that that matter to you? Okay, bosses, day 4 down. I'll come at you again tomorrow with another story. If you're interested in hearing these, please remember to subscribe so you get notifications. And if you would like and comment on this video or share it with someone, I would really appreciate it, whether they're a Cubs fan or, like myself, a San Francisco Giants fan. Bye, guys.